Hey.
Hey, what's going on?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, you want to start in the green room?
Yeah,
Let
let's
everybody
do
see
it.
what it looks like.
Yeah. All right, welcome to the green room. Here it is. So I decided to put some different famous Oklahomans on here. So we got Maria Tall Chief. She's probably the most famous dancer in Oklahoma history. Jim Thorpe, which a lot of people recognize as the most famous athlete probably. And then we got Ralph Ellison. He wrote a book called The Invisible Man, which I think is kind of important because even though it was related a little more to civil rights and stuff, I think that's a lot of comedians want to feel seen and heard. So I thought that'd be cool to keep him up there. And then of course, Will Rogers. Got a couple hats on the wall. I'm wearing one of them because why the hell not? Yeah. And then, I guess one last thing, we got a copy of Mastering Stand-Up by Steven Rosenfield out of New York City. I took his class a couple times in New York City back in the day, and big fan of him. So I kind of want to reach out to him and Ethan Hirschenfeld and see if they can help us out a little bit with maybe some stand-up writing classes. So maybe we can create like a remote writing program or something.
Nice.
But let's go ahead and go into the next piece of whatever the hell this building is. So this is the lobby. We're gonna probably make a couple of adjustments to it, but I've heard a lot of people say positive things about the wallpaper that Stephanie put up. If you guys don't know who Stephanie is, she's gonna be doing a lot of the booking at the club. But she's one of the people that also owns the lease alongside me, Ross, and Henry. It's a group of the four of us. You can come in here and then you'll see the office. The office is starting to come together a lot more. Some people have filmed podcasts here. You know, sometimes they'll do it in the other room, sometimes they'll do it here. But we're gonna basically have a video editing station right behind where you're currently standing, David. So we'll put a gaming computer there so that way comedians will have instant access to their videos eventually. And then we have, it's pretty much just storage space, so nothing too exciting, but this is the office. This right here is eventually gonna be the showroom. We just put down floors thanks to Stephanie's uncle recently, and we put up curtains. Today we're gonna be focusing on ceilings because we have a bunch of ceiling panels there, and we're gonna make them look a lot more like what we got going on up there.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. So we're gonna convert all the ceiling panels to that, and then we're also gonna be painting the walls and then putting up, we're gonna be putting up some trim on the walls to make it look more fancy, kind of like the green room. This will eventually be the showroom, and there will be a stage in the middle, this middle third, and then we should be able to seat about 200 people or more.
Nice.
So,
Well, the benefit is you have walls that can come out, and depending on the size that you're expecting, you can kind of adjust the size of your room.
that's exactly it, and that's what we've been doing up to this point. So the first few months, we're probably only going to be using like this particular room, possibly the middle room once we get the stage built, but that'll probably be more like August, September timeframe. Let's go ahead and go through this door. We are going to knock down this wall, and then this will eventually be the bar slash kitchen area, where we will do the all taco menu and plus of course alcohol and mocktails, etc. So this room will look wildly different. This room down here though is already finished. This room is definitely going to serve several different purposes, but it has a tendency to, we do a lot of dance events in it currently. Now we're going to be doing dance socials at some point here in the near future, but this is also the room that we're going to be doing most of our Friday shows until the main showroom gets built out fully. So we ran Nasty Work here. We're going to be running the F5 Comedy Hour here. We're going to be running the Game of Roast here and the Big Rumble here. So voila, here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good bones.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And this is a really nice stage already.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, in fact, what's funny is like on Nasty Work, they basically just took the couch, put it in the middle, and then they were just bringing people up there and just putting them there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Be sure to, everybody check that out. Be sure to come to these shows. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's nice.
Yeah.
Well done, my friend.
Hell yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want that, like, what's that meme where they're just like,
Dylan, you son of a bitch. What's the matter? The CIA got you pushing too many pencils?
Oh, the
yeah, like,
the Schwarzenegger. And,
Yeah.
What is that from?
Predator.
Predator,
Yeah, that
yeah.
sounds right. Yeah.
You want to give it a go? There's one good one from downtown.
Let's go.
There it is.
Yeah.
I wish I had the forearm veins. You know, I don't have those. I need to get on that test.
Yeah, and the steroids. Yeah.
In 5, 4, 3. Hey guys, how's it going? Nick Campbell here. With me always is behind the cameras, David Steele. What's going on, buddy? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's gonna be a little silent today because we're on location at the new club in OKC, Twisters, right? And I'm with two of my favorite people right now in this room, Aaron White and Michael Dunn. How you doing, fellas?
Doing great.
Hey, all right.
great. Yep.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. Now, Aaron, you're actually you did comedy for a little while, and then you you founded the club, and you wanted to build the community, and you also have a few civic ambitions tied to it a little bit as well. Correct?
Yeah.
So, just starting us off, how did Twister start, and then how did it come to be?
I used to do comedy, and then I got involved with, just more focused on work, and then I realized how depressing living in a corporate environment around a lot of fake people is. So I just remembered how much I enjoyed the comedy community. And don't get me wrong, the corporate environment I'm in right now is pretty cool, but like I still want to help build the community in Oklahoma City, and I think that this was a good way to do it. So that's a big reason why I wanted to create Twisters. So pretty much avoid depression.
Yeah, that's why we all do comedy, I think, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we already did a podcast with you where we kind of talked about the beginning before this even got started.
Yeah.
Before you even got the building where we are right now. Which is the was it Chisholm Event Center?
Chisholm Creek Event Center.
Chisholm Creek Event Center. Which this is the green room. Beautiful.
Yeah.
The work you've done in here.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a lot
Yeah,
of
this
fun.
is our green room. This is where the comedians can hang out. We're gonna put a door right here that'll eventually go into the showroom. So easy access. And it'll function eventually as kind of like a podcast / photo studio for the city. So whoever wants to use it. Yeah.
Well, I love the idea of like building the ship as you're riding in it. You know what I'm saying?
It's a nightmare, if I'm being honest with you. But it's also kind of fun, because it's agile. I don't know, like it's very. I want the comedians to kind of play a big process in how we're going to shape each show, how we're going to kind of create the club. I want it to be made in real time. So, yeah, that's how we're doing this.
Yeah, well, I think the communities come together. I mean, we come out. You have an open mic on the Mondays, every Monday.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
You're doing what Mike's actually helping with is the Comedy Rumble.
Yeah, he's crushing it.
And what they do is they pick one person. Everybody does kind of an open mic with a panel. They pick one person. That person goes on to the Big Rumble, which will be on June 20th. And then they could win potential prize or more spots and have a lot of freaking fun, dude.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, so pretty soon, the open mic, not this week, but next week, we're going to start doing writing workshops beforehand. So that way we can help we'll create a template to where, like, in theory, anybody could run it. But I want to make sure that people are, like, getting feedback in a sort of small group setting in addition to just being on stage. So I think that's going to help out Mondays a little bit. Thursdays are going pretty well, honestly. Like, we had almost 50 people there last Thursday. I was kind of surprised by it, and that's just on like the 5th or 6th week we've done it. So thank you to all the people who are showing up to it, really. I don't know did you want me to let him kind of?
Oh, no, it's all right. We got some more. Mike, you doing good over there? You cool?
Yeah.
Side saddle? Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, side saddle.
But yeah, no.
This really is Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, we call it friendship here.
I call it normal.
Yeah,
no,
but this is kind of like a
stupid.
soft open, isn't it? Because we're still trying to kind of build it as the needs arise, right?
Yes, yeah. So that was the whole idea behind us being soft open. Is like we're very we want to work out a lot of kinks as we're building things. So that is the idea until later in the year when we're hard open. The hard open will, I don't know. I wanted it to initially be August. It could be a month or two after, but we need to get the bar built out. We have all of our permits and stuff. We've got a lot of like pieces that we're still moving. I want to do an all taco menu because I feel like it'd just be a lot easier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I got that from a gym actually, a gym that was just obsessed with tacos that I started going to recently. They're called Prevail here in Edmond, and they also got a location in Yukon. All right, now I'm starting to sound like a salesman, but they, they're just obsessed with tacos for whatever reason. And I was like, damn, you know, it'd be a great idea. That would actually lower the hell out of overhead. Like, yeah, let's get some like. Let's go to the Southwest side and like underpay somebody to make some. No, I'm kidding. Let's do an all taco menu.
Yeah, I like that too because it's like every day's Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. So, I mean, I know you touch base with a lot of people. You know, that's something that I really appreciate about you is that you'll sit there, you'll really listen.
Yeah.
And you'll talk to the comics. You know. And even the people from the improv side, they'll come in. And Christella, she's been a huge help in kind of organizing things and helping out. Yeah. And it takes a lot for somebody to go, hey, I'll take it in. You're taking them from a lot of directions too. Yeah, right? No, I'm taking it up a lot of directions. But it is important to kind of like really get to know people and like really befriend them because I got to figure out where people are strong. And Christella, that one was a little more obvious up front just because she goes to a lot of the shows. Like, you know, she went to Nasty Work with Sid and John and she was watching from the crowd and she was taking notes the whole time. And then she talks to them afterwards and she doesn't just like berate people. She's kind of like, man, I love that you did this, this, and this. Holy crap. That was awesome. Let's do this. Like, have you ever considered the possibility of doing these things as well? Like I'll help you run like a rehearsal beforehand if you want to do this. So that's what she's doing with them on Tuesday. So I don't know. She's been great from a creative standpoint. Yeah, she's been great in that regard. And I think that there are other people that are starting to kind of show some promise that like, how do I put this person in a role? So I think Austin Slaughter's a really good one. Yeah, he's really good at like making people feel included, and like making people like when he walks in to like any environment, and now as kind of de facto like the dip heads, it immediately becomes way less pressure. Like it just immediately people feel way more comfortable. So I was kind of consulting him about, hey, how do we get the dancers and we get the comedians to work together? So I don't know. I see a potential role for him to kind of help develop the scene, you know, but everybody has different specific roles. So I'm trying to figure out one, who are people? And then two, how do I like help make sure there's a space for this person to feel seen and heard and listened to and people to take them seriously whenever they speak. So that's what I'm trying to clear the debris for someone like Christella. I'm like, a lot of the times I'll give her flowers and like certain group chat messages and stuff. I'm like, you guys really should be going to Christella for this particular thing. She is really good at this, and that, you know, and it'll be the same for several other people. So I'm trying to listen to you guys in that regard. Well, I think we're putting these different schools of comedy together. Yeah. It really gives us different tools to work with. Oh, like improv and stand up in the same space. Think about Christella and how she helped build the improv in OKC, and then now she's bringing. I promise you right now, no comedian's going to go, we should rehearse. Yeah, you know no, they're like, no, I'm better off the cuff. No, you're just lazy. No, you know what I'm saying? And I am that. You know what I'm saying? I barely prepared for the. You know what I'm saying? This is one page. I'm just trying my best. But like, that's what I'm saying. That's like, generous for a stand-up comedian. Most of this is just telling me I'm great. Okay. But for Christella, you see the improv side. You can see that kind of bleed into it. Yeah. Sup, dog? Yeah. I would just text Ross. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Well, speaking of Ross. Yeah. So your wife also helps. Yeah, she's a powerhouse when it comes to like admin, operations stuff, like just getting this building up to like a high level of spec. Mm-hmm. I think that she's playing a big role. Like sometimes I feel bad. I'm just like, shit, like I haven't done enough this week. So, all right, I guess I'll just start building stuff in a room and try to get it outfitted and stuff. So I try to do that a lot more. We're both working on using a CRM tool to help get AI to market things to different portions of the population. So just getting that set up is a nightmare, you know, and
and Levy, who used to be in the comedy scene, he's kind of getting back into it a little bit. He's been helping us a little bit in that regard too. So,
Nice.
yeah, with website stuff and getting AI target marketing type shit going on.
Well, and it's tough. I run a business too. It's tough to kind of balance that along with trying to build a new business, and then and your wife does and both of you do the dance side.
Yeah.
And she just got done doing one of her shows.
Yeah,
right?
she just did a performance on Friday, and it'll be really interesting to see what audiences we can kind of open up to, like Latin or country and swing type performances and stuff. Because like Justin, for example, he's the top swing and country dance instructor in the city. Like he teaches at Redneck Yacht Club, he teaches at Oklahoma Ranch, he teaches in Stillwater, he teaches at Cowboys, he teaches here specifically, but he we're developing a great relationship with here since he's here and he's in the building a lot. He's here every Sunday, so but sorry, I didn't mean to get too off track. She's got a lot of stuff going on from like the Latin dance perspective, and I think that as we kind of build whatever this is, I think there's potential to help unite some of the Latin dance scene, just because there's actually been some problems inside of it in the past, and some people would say like, don't ever talk about this on a podcast or whatever, or there's some sides that like they'll just disagree to no end, but I disagree with their disagreement. I think that, I mean, even Vince McMahon still wanted to work with everybody, maybe it's that Netflix special I was watching recently or whatever with Vince McMahon, like going back to all of his enemies. But yeah, like I think that if you work together, you're more likely to create something great anyways. So I'm trying to help push that in the dance scene. Yeah. But it got a little off track there, but yeah, she's doing pretty good with that. So she'll be performing in that, pretty regularly.
Well, that's the beautiful thing I've noticed about Twisters is you have this really great two performance type of things that are almost very different, but we see a lot of the dance people come out to Comedy Rumble after they get done with their lessons. Yeah. And then we had some on the panel and trying it out.
Yeah, and they some of them like they'll shit themselves before they go up there and try out the panel and stuff. But I'm just like, hey, like it's new. Like we're still trying shit. Like just go up there, try anything. Yeah. And one of my favorites so far has been Victor. Victor's one of the bachata instructors here, through Bilo KC, and he just, I don't know, like he the whole time he was really trying to be in it, and I think he's the best example of somebody from dance so far. But Stephanie, who's part of the leasing group for the building, she helps run Bilo KC, and she's helping out with Twisters, and she was beating herself up so much after she tried, and I was just like, well, welcome to fucking comedy. Like, it sucks to bomb, right? Feels like April 19th, 1995 all over again. But like, you can try to, you gotta analyze stuff afterwards. That's normal. That's part of the process.
I mean, it took me, I still do it. I mean, I'll say something dumb and I'll live with it for a week but I think it also gives you a harder shell. And in regular conversation, I feel like a superhero, because you're like, oh, this is 5 people and not 100.
You're right. And also, like, there's something to be said about, like, when you bomb enough, you sink into yourself a lot, and like that is where usually the funniest part of a human being becomes. And I think that in that first year or two, like you got to go through that process to like become super grounded, because then you start to not care at some point. And then when you're not caring, you start to find your voice, and then you become funny, like really, like you find out what made you hilarious whenever you were like around your friends or whatever that made before you even started doing this shit. Or maybe you weren't funny and like you gained self-awareness and now you're not a fucking shitty human being anymore, Yeah.
Dude, right. I get better just because you have to go into yourself to figure out, well, what was wrong, and then you get to see yourself for really what you are. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm just another human. We all make mistakes. For the most part, if you do bomb, nobody remembers it. Yeah. Because they're like, oh, that sucked. I want to try to get that out of my brain as fast as I can. Yeah. There's another person. But no, I think that's something you are cultivating here, though. You're cultivating a very, hey, jump up. Do a minute. Look, we're all just having fun here.
Right. It doesn't feel as nerve-wracking as like, other mics have passed or even going up to other different types of clubs. Like, I don't feel like it feels quite as pressurized. So, yeah I agree. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you doing all this. Now, I did want to ask you this last thing. Now, you mentioned, did you have political ambitions, and this is kind of tied to building community. And, how does that connect,
I don't fully know yet, but I will say this. There's a lot of politicians that are aware of this place now, but more importantly, there's going to be several of them that are going to be on podcasts. There's one of them that signed up for the Rumble.
Oh, sick.
There's like not to go up, but to be on the panel. And I think that we're going to start seeing a trend of I think there's a lot of political leaders that will eventually kind of view this place as, oh, I should go here to help get an audience to some degree. Like maybe I can get some good clips, or maybe I can go hone this sort of practice, on this stage. So they're coming out of the woodworks, and they're kind of curious about the club. So I don't even know where I would end up leaning politically at the end of it, because I'm already relatively moderate, and I'm a little bit more solutions based as an engineer. So I don't really know how that's gonna shape what I end up doing, but yeah, in probably 5 to 10 years, I'd like to run in the area. So to be a state representative or a state senator.
Well, I'll vote for you, man.
Oh, thanks, man.
Unless I'm running against you.
All right. Yeah.
I always thought maybe, but it looks hard. It looks tough. I don't want to mess around with that. I mean, if you bring Mayor Holt here to do an open mic, I might say something. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I would love to get him on the panel. Yeah,
that'd be sick.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that, because it takes a certain person to want to build a community. I think that's very important. My motto is, you got to tend to the part of the garden you can touch.
Yeah.
And I try to, sometimes it doesn't feel like you're moving in a direction, but I know your gut is probably telling you, hey, this is something we got to do.
Okay. Okay.
I feel the same way. Like whenever we're doing shows, we're building shows, I'm like, oh man, this seems crazy, right? Should I be doing this? I have 3 kids. I have a business.
Yeah.
Probably losing out somewhere where I probably shouldn't, but it feels right.
Feels right. Okay.
Yeah.
Really I don't know how to use different words to describe the community portion, but it sucks to be, this is a real big reason why I decided to create this. It really sucks to be 50 years old and then look back and go, okay, I got a wife, I got kids, I'm plugged in at a church, I'm plugged in at work, I've got a decent life and stuff, but I still feel really alone. And I think that this is just a citywide effort to combat all of that. It's okay, I can maybe tackle this for myself, and then also for hundreds or maybe even thousands of other people eventually. So the goal is to create an environment where people this is the main social hub for the city for you to show up to. And if you feel alone, by the end of the night, you should not, if this is done correctly. So whether that's the social dance classes, whether that's the comedy rumbles, the crowd driven comedy shows, whatever it may be that we're going to be doing here, that's going to be the sort of underlying umbrella and theme for all of this. So that's the goal with this club. That's what I'm trying to do. So
well, I feel it. I think it's happening. Like I said, the last Rumble, you could feel that. People were inspired. They're like, I want to try that. You could tell the new people that came in,
Yeah.
And it is, as soon as it was over, that's the thing. When you talk crazy, you unshell yourself in front of people. Other people are like, oh yeah, and then you easily talk to each other because you had an experience together.
Yeah,
and that's what you guys did on Thursday.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and I very much mean that. I'm here to be accessible. The same way that maybe this is a better answer to the political thing. I'm here to be accessible as this thing gets created. So whenever I run for office, I would treat it very similarly. I'd be I think it would be a responsibility to have specific times on social media where it's hey, I'm gonna be at this coffee shop. Hey, I'm gonna be at this restaurant. Hey, I'm gonna be. And if I had enough money, I would probably just be hey, I'll buy lunch with a random person every week or something like that, just to sit down and just bullshit and kind of figure out just whatever. And I want to be that level of accessible in the future whenever politics are things. So yeah. So
that's more accessible than any of them are ever. So.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That is kind of that's an old Will Rogers quote. It's be sure to write your politicians even though they can't read.
Yeah. He's actually on the wall.
Yeah, I saw him. He's one of my heroes right now. But man, so now let's move to Comedy Rumble.
Hell yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about Comedy Rumble.
I'm going to pass off the mic since I've already talked way too much.
Michael Dunn, my good buddy. Now, just to introduce you, you've been comedian for about 3 years, right?
Yep.
and you host the Comedy Rumble.
Are we doing a set? Is it?
Yeah, that's whatever you want to do, I think.
How long do we get?
I'll tell you. Go ahead, yeah.
You'll tell me?
I think so.
Okay. That's very weird. He said just like normal. That's not normal. I've never heard of a mystery time. It's between 1 and 30. You just go. Right before your best punchline, we'll cut it.
So tell us a little bit about what Comedy Rumble is and what inspired the idea.
Comedy Rumble is a panel comedy show. You know, there's lots of them. There's the big ones. There's Kill Tony. There's the small ones. There's the roast show with the panels and stuff like that. Basically, it's just, you know, you go up, you do some minutes, and then you talk to me afterwards. And you know, I don't usually, the first couple times I'd like write stuff down. I'm gonna ask him this, but it's all just kind of like in the moment style comedy, I guess, like riffing and stuff. So. Yeah, it's fun. It's been a fun time. I think we've all had, me and you've had some fun up on the panel. Yeah.
Well, I think it opens you up because you go up and do your set, right? So that's like kind of the basics, and then you sit around and you ask them questions about their set, which you know for a fact, like your jokes are complete exaggeration, hyperbole. They aren't necessarily what you're thinking, but maybe the emotion behind what you're thinking.
Right.
And then you can get to really play there. Now, one of the things that I noticed is you have to be on top of everything.
Yeah, constantly. Yeah, I cannot take a mental rest for like a second.
Yeah. How do you know? What's going through your head? How do you do that,
I mean, I'm not going to give you my whole process, but no. I mean, it's just like if people go too far off the rails, you know, you got to get it back on track to the show. Like, hey, this, you know, you guys just had a whole like. You guys went on a whole mental journey there, but hey, we're still doing a comedy show, and you got to bring it back to that baseline, kind of, you know. And another thing that's kind of difficult about it is, you know, I know all these people. I hang out with these people every single week. You know, these are my buddies for the most part. And when you're up there on the mic, and let's say they bomb or they do bad, and it's kind of like I have the responsibility as the host to be like, you know, get them, you know. But it's like they're my friend, you know. And so you don't want to get them like too hard, but got to do what you got to do as the host. You know, it's all part of the
you're
game.
very playful with it.
Right.
You're not asking like, why'd you suck? You know, it's
right.
You're like,
it's implied. It's implied.
A little bit, yeah. And I think in that conversation, whenever you're watching it from the audience point of view, I think that you see that and you go, oh, that's kind of fun. You know, I want to try to see if I can get one over on Mike.
Right,
you know? I want to see if
right.
I can talk to this panel.
And that's part of the fun is to try to get one over on me too. And you know, everybody sees me bomb too. Like we all do it. It's necessary. It's part of it. So, you know, it's just finding the right thing to say in the moment is difficult sometimes, but that's also what makes it a fun thing. You know, it's risky because I'm up there with nothing. I have no material. you know, I just, so like I do know these people though, which makes it a little easier. Like, you know, I know their deepest secrets, their insecurities already, so I can exploit that and attack them. It's pretty fun. Yeah, it's a good time, man.
Yeah. So you build your panel. You guys kind of both decide. Now, I like that you're using some dance people for the panel, and then you use a comedian, and then it's Mike. And then Mike kind of spearheads it a little bit, and you have roughly right now, I think it's 3 minutes, right? To do this, you do your 3-minute set, then you do the Q&A part, and you play off the crowd.
Right.
Like I said, it's very interactive, which is super fun. But how do you choose your panel? I mean, what's thoughts that somebody that is more cohesive with that idea, or who is ready for that kind of work?
Dude, some of the people that I throw on there, like, I feel like I'm not doing him a service. Really. Like, I'm just like, figure it out.
Well, and that's you know, it shouldn't matter to me who's on the panel up there with me, you know, because I know like bigger, you know, you're gonna stack it with super good comedians, but like sometimes the inexperienced dance guy is funnier up there because he's just kind of off the wall. Like Victor was funny. He was brutal, bro. He was so brutal, and that was funny because I was like, holy shit, you know, like this guy is just saying this stuff, and so it's usually if somebody can beat me while they're up there on the mic, they can be on the panel. That's how I look at it. So if they get me, I'm like, all right, you're better than me, you know. Fucking.
So
come
everybody
on
be sure to go for the throat.
Go for the throat at me. Try to take me down. Yeah.
But no, I like that because one, it shows that anybody can do it.
Right.
You know, and that opens it up to, well, maybe I'll jump on the mic. All right, and then and then you be like you said, you're building a community with friends, making connections. Now they're going to other mics. Now we're building the comedy scene. And you can
Right.
see that. We're starting a new mic, not bragging, we're starting a new mic June 4th at Put a Cork in It Winery, which is basically comedy on the spot, because everybody's like, it's so much fun to watch and be a part of the audience. And I was like, well, we'll do a mic and you just come up here and try it yourself.
Right.
Give it a minute, give it 2, see if you like it. But we're seeing people that came to here who were like, I want to try more comedy. And then you go to standupmics.com, it shows you all this comedy in OKC that you can do open mics. Thank you, Leo Mendes.
Yes.
But then you see these, they're like, we got 20 people that are signed up that aren't even regular comics for comedy on the spot open mic right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is insane. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? How many people you know how mics are?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's like maybe 1, 2, sometimes there's 10. If you're at JJ's, it's in and out. It just depends
Right.
on the environment. But I think you guys are doing that. You're showing people that they can, you know? And the same thing with you, and then you pick a comedian, which the comedians you pick, I mean, last time with Joel being dressed
Oh my
as
God,
Jesus,
that's so funny,
that was
dude.
so
That was crazy. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
That was a great panel.
So it's
Yeah.
super playful and fun, and I think
Mm-hmm.
when people see that, it's something new that they're not seeing at other clubs.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, I'm just buttering y'all's bread.
Thank
but
you.
yeah, juggling the panel, being a comic, doing the crowd's work all at once, and then having to also run JJ's and be a comedian out of that.
And a father.
And a father.
And a good husband, good employee.
Well-
Overall, nice guy. Yes.
You think good employee?
Cut that part out, actually.
We just gave them all the things to get at you. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, how do you balance it, man? How are you writing for it? How are you doing on that?
No, I mean, I just do, bro. Just keep pushing, man. Keep pushing, keep
Yeah.
pushing. You know, we can rest when we're old. You know, like
Yeah.
like you were saying with the 50-year-old men thing. You'd be 50 years old and you have it all. I never want to look back and say, oh, I could have tried harder. I could have done more. I should have said that line. I should have went to that mic. You know, it's all just kind of like, I'm out here having fun, man. You know, and that's comedy. I started comedy because, you know, I thought it looked like fun, and I thought, you know, the same reason we all started comedy. You know, I have a lot going on, but I'm thankful I have a lot going on. It's better than having nothing going on at all. So even though it's a lot and it's stressful, it's like first world problems. Oh man, I have all this cool stuff that I do all the time. Oh, it sucks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, man. It really is, because it can feel like it's almost a burden if you don't remember.
right.
Yeah.
No, I'm thankful that I'm thankful that I've been getting to do this Rumble thing and be on the panel and spearhead it, at least for now. It's fun. It's a great opportunity comedically. You know, going up there with nothing, no material. It's such like you eventually feel like free, kind of. You know, I don't have to tell these stupid jokes. I can just, you know, make fun of him or go off something somebody said in the crowd or somebody said on the panel. You know, it really is good, like a good comedic exercise, and everybody wants to do it, and everybody should do it because it's fun.
Well, let me ask you this: doing Comedy Rumble, how has that stretched you? How does it change how you're approaching the stage now?
Well, the first couple times was pretty. I mean, you've been on the panel. The first couple times was kind of stressful because it's like, oh, is this guy gonna fight me up here on the panel? Not fight, but like, you know, it's a balancing act while you're up there on the panel, and like, you know, you have to balance the panel with that and then the crowd, and but I feel like the more you worry about it and the more you try to control it, the worse it's going to go. So I feel like the best strategy is to just go with the flow, because that's what the show is. And it's just a gigantic, like, you know, so if I try to insert my own joke or try to make myself look a certain way, it's just going to kind of fall flat, you know, and you kind of see that on, you see that a lot of places in comedy, but that's the goal is to just basically go with it, go in with nothing, expect nothing, and you know, anything could happen.
Then you're taking that to the stage in your regular set too?
Well, no, I'm still doing my stupid jokes, you know. But, no, I mean, well, you know, a regular stand-up set, like I've talked about this the last time I was on Rhythm and Wit. You know, like I like hecklers, bro. I like when people yell stuff out because it gives me an opportunity to step away from my material first off, which, you know, it is what it is, but like, I'm not saying please come and heckle me, but I'm saying it's nice, you know, it's a room full of people all sitting like quietly listening to you. And so like just a break from, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's basically like, it's helped a lot, you know, and what helped with the panel was like the comedy on the spots or crowd work shows or riff shows where you're not supposed to go up with material. And it ultimately just helps you because, you know, if you have to deviate from that track, you've been out there, and so you know what to do. You know how to get back online.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest benefit from all of it, I think, is basically you're just building nerve.
Yeah.
Is what it feels like,
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Be
too.
ready for anything. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, when you're up there and you kind of lose it a little bit, and
Yeah.
then you kind of get shook, and you're like, oh, where was I? It kind of keeps you from doing that. Or you can at least play a little bit.
Right.
And then go into the crowd or play with. That's why I like comedy on the spot too. Like you said, like you can figure out. All right, I have this topic. I'm gonna have to extrapolate. Let me involve the crowd. What do you think? About Elon Musk. Or
Right.
about this, and then you kind of play off of there. It's just kind of regular conversation. You learn that we're just talking.
Right. Right.
So what are one of your favorite moments that you've had on Comedy Rumble so far?
Oh, there's been a lot. I mean, I liked I like last week with Kiki. That was funny.
Yeah. Where did she come from? Did you find out?
I've seen her. I've seen the name a couple times. I think she's like around Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The stuff with Lizzie is always fun. Jonathan Groth is always a fun interview. It's all, like I said, I know all these people, so it's all kind of a Zach. Zach, like everybody is. Yeah, I don't know. Every week has been a different. There's always a different moment. So
Yeah.
just. Jesus, last would be Jesus on the panel was funny. That's a sin, it was great.
Yeah.
Bro, so.
Well, we had Cameron Buchholz there too.
Cameron Buchholz came and ripped us a new one, bro. And we deserved it. We deserve it, bro. We really do.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, get on the panel, man. Help me with this shit.
Well, that's what you're saying, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
he was so good. It's like we got to get him on the panel.
Right.
Yeah. And he's talented. He's been in the game in OKC for a while now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good to see the local veterans jumping in and helping too.
Yeah, for sure.
To all the local veterans, I feel like I should throw this out there really quick. Am I derailing anything?
No, go for it. Go for it. Yeah, grab that.
Okay.
Grab one.
I would really like to be able to put up a local headliner at least once a month or once every other month, and that's ambitious. So we're looking at least bare minimum 6 people, possibly getting a headlining weekend. Maybe in the 2026 year. So,
Nice.
I mean, to see someone like Cameron show up out of nowhere, and I'm already kind of thinking, oh, we're gonna have TJ from TJ Janet and J Rod on the Big Rumble in August, thanks to Christella. So how do we should just put him on there with it, and then that would be funny to have the 2 radio show hosts just trying to go at it,
Yeah.
And then it also kind of, I don't know, there's something about that that's just kind of cool, and then. Yeah, I don't know. People like him, I'm trying to kind of keep an eye as to who has potential headliner material, potential in the future. And, I'm thinking about how we can help create an audience for someone like him. So just a thought, there's lots of opportunities coming people's ways. They're going to be able to feature faster. They're going to be able to open faster and potentially even headline faster. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. My bad. Here you go.
No, that was good. You can see a path. That's the thing you can see here is you can see, hey, these people just do comedy here.
Yeah.
Mike and then all the other people that are normally on it. And then the audience comes in and they're like, well, I could try that.
Yeah.
And then they see you feature, they see you be on a show here. And they go, well, I could potentially be on a show if I do well enough.
Yeah.
And you got to give them a reason to try. You got to give them a reason to try. Maybe some of the veterans, whoever they may be, I don't know, maybe they gave up because there's a reason to give up, So maybe we can be a reason for some of them to try again. I don't know.
Keep the hope alive, for sure.
Yeah, keep them inspired. All right, so a couple things real quick, or a few things. So what are your biggest obstacles in getting butts in the seats?
I'm gonna let you take this.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. What's funny is I actually think it's going to be AI. Figuring out how to use AI to target things, I think is going to be the biggest bang for buck. So there's a lot of CRM tools out there for different businesses, and I think that those CRM tools, whoever adopts AI automation the fastest are going to be the ones that end up surviving, and the ones that don't are going to struggle. And I'm saying this as a cyber and AI engineer. We're figuring out the tools right now, as we speak. But there's a local dance studio that I'm aware of, in the area, and they started adopting it, and they went from a business that was struggling to one that's doing pretty decent now. So I think getting that going, I think, is the first thing. I think getting all the spaces built out and getting the liquor license is going to be a big part of it too. So getting alcohol sales, getting AI in place. Yeah, because I think that traditional going to places with posters, I think that's one, we will do that and we will partner with local businesses, but it has its limitations, it's not as good as the tech. So, so we'll have to do both, I think those are going to be the biggest challenges, but, in terms of getting our name out there.
Yeah, dude, I love that.
Yeah.
I think you're right. AI is pretty much going to be, so you say CRM.
Oh, customer relationship management.
Yeah. Okay.
So just like being able to like make it seamless for when the customer walks in the door, and it's just, do they have to download an app or can they just use Google Wallet, or can they, and whenever they send a message to the page, is it sending something that sounds, like overly scripted, or does it sound like it's actually making their life easier, more convenient, and it feels a little more personable where you can kind of jump in where you need to. So I think that all that kind of stuff, just to make it the least amount of steps, making it lean, I guess is really it.
To get through the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Ticket sales, like what does that process look like? Does it look smoother? Because every extra step, every extra thing, it just makes them more likely to be like, fuck this shit. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
So
Netflix is easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're fighting, I think. I think you're fighting that right now.
Yeah. You are fighting that. And then also our biggest one of our biggest incentives in the future is like, hey, you come here to make friends. Like you come here to meet your future, I honestly think dating is just absolutely in the shitter, for both genders. So I think that's a big thing that we're also going to want to help push. It's like, listen, like fun comedy, crowd driven stuff. So that way you're interacting with people. Mm-hmm. You can go up and try dance classes that are personable and people will go up to you and dance, even if you're a guy. Like that should be kind of the expectation is like, I'm talking with the dance side of things. I'm like, listen, like people should not come here and feel like it's a clique. They should feel like, oh, I come here and I feel welcome and I feel like I'm making friends immediately.
Yeah.
And then also dating shows. Eventually we'll do that, so I don't know what that'll look like, but like some sort of speed dating type environment that is low pressure, very fun. And even if people walk away with nothing, they're like, wow, at least I walk away with some friends kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, you're mingling people. People are going to end up dating and hanging out and,
yeah.
And they'll be able to thank Twisters for their kids.
Yes. And then on top of that, this is even more down, several years from now, me and Ross want to have open dialogue and conversations, and maybe we're projecting a little bit by doing this, but like we want to have open dialogue and conversations about what healthy relationships look like, just because like that it just feels like that's becoming less common, so we want to make sure that we help people navigate that, because I think one of the biggest problems is like you have a lot of women will get online and they have tons of choices, like an enormous amount of choice to the point that it's like it makes you not want to select anything. But then you also have a lot of guys who have not a lot of choice until they reach a certain point, and if they're at like a certain point, then they get enormous choice to the point that they don't want to settle down. Like, and settle down is probably a terrible way to word that, but like when you have so many options, you're just going to become a player. So I think having conversations about stuff like that in order to help people like manage their expectations and look for what healthy relationships could be, whether that's finding the seeds or whether that's sowing the seeds, like we want to talk about that on a citywide level. Like in some sense, we want to help kind of repair the dating scene. So
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that comedy and dance are going to play a big role in that.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I won't be able to join. I got a wife,
That's good. So the thing is like having guys, like how do you navigate this stuff in a relationship currently? Because we go home and we judge some of the shit that we see at dance socials. We're just like, yeah, that person's definitely up to that stuff. Like, yeah, did you think their intentions were this? And it's just like, of course they are. Like, and then we'll spot mistakes from like a mile away. We'll be like, yeah, they're getting into trouble. They probably shouldn't be dating them, and maybe it's the Love is Blind that she's watching and stuff that makes us like way too privy to this shit. Yeah. But like, I don't know. Like, there's healthy ways to handle this stuff. And I think that we as couples, sometimes we judge those things that are happening in our daily lives with other people because we're trying to remind ourselves what normal is. So, yeah, I don't know. We want to have that conversation on a larger scale so that way people can not feel so dissatisfied with the dating scene and know how to, like, manage their expectations.
Yeah, I like that, man. Yeah, and you'll have that here along with the dancing and everything. I mean, you're going to open that door up to having real conversation.
Yes, and this is a healthy place. Like, you're in a really nice area. You're in an area that, like, it's safe to go here. There's plenty of parking. The building's beautiful. You know, I feel like we're already setting like a specific tone in this area of the city where it's like, hey, listen, like, you go out, like Chisholm Creek is like a nice date area. So you can come here and have a really nice date or an opportunity for that in a really nice environment at an affordable price. So plus an all taco menu.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's the tagline. Taco menu.
Yeah.
All time. Okay, so what are some other shows that you have going on, and where can people find out about them in future shows?
Right. So every Friday we're going to be running a local community-based show. So those include the following. We have obviously the Big Rumble coming up on June 20th, which is a conglomerate of all the different winners from the Thursday shows, the Thursday comedy rumbles, and plus some other wild card winners that we're going to throw in there as well. And then Sid and John are running Nasty Work. It's a very crowd work based show. It's a lot of fun. Expect to get they'll just bring random people from the crowd up and just put them on stage and just start interacting with them. Like, Sid and John's improv skills, very underrated. Nice. And that's coming up, not this upcoming Friday, but the next one. We have a large dance festival that's going to be hosted here, but right before then we're going to have, and this is this upcoming Friday. On this upcoming Friday, we're going to have the F5 Comedy Hour, and that's going to be hosted by Christella. It's going to have a ton of improv, sketch, whatever she decides to throw in that show. That's what that's going to be. And then we also have Game of Roast. So we have Brandon and Adrian heading that up. I know Michael's going to be on that. And they're going to have 8 people basically like go through a whole roast tournament effectively. So those are a lot of the shows coming up in June. We also, like I said, we have a dance festival coming up this weekend, Raza, from Northwest Arkansas. And I'm actually going to be having some conversations with them and with the dance instructor that comes here on Mondays from Houston about possible satellite locations for Twisters. So that way we can become a chain as fast as we can possibly can. And that might be, that might open up the door to us becoming, like, I want this to eventually be the biggest comedy chain in the country. But that's, you know, maybe like a decade or more from now, but those are the starting steps. But at the Raza Festival, you know, we're gonna have a lot going on there. So, yeah, those are a lot of the shows coming up in June. Headliner shows are going to be a little bit later. So we're probably looking at maybe like September. We initially wanted August, but it just depends on how fast we can get all of the alcohol sales stuff in place.
Well, I mean, it looks like it's coming together, man. Now, again, where can people find it? Where can people find all this information online?
I would start with social media is easiest right now because in the soft open period, we're still messing a lot with the website and the CRM tools to make sure it's optimized before we open up the website. But I would just start with social media. So it's just Twisters Comedy on Instagram and then Twisters Comedy Club on Facebook. So yeah, I would just start there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last question. How can the community support this even if they're not comics?
I mean, obviously, yeah, definitely showing up to anything, you know, and I don't mean this with any pressure, you know, just come to any show, you know. I think the Thursday Comedy Rumble is already looking a lot more fun. Like, it's already nice to see that one of our 3 divided rooms is filled up, and I would like for that to eventually be 2 and then 3, and then be able to kind of add some adjustments to the Comedy Rumble. We do have open mics on Mondays, and then we also have our show. All those shows I just mentioned, every Friday from this point forward, we have a show. And then in September, we're going to have Fridays and Saturdays headlining shows, probably around that time. So, yeah, those are ways to get involved. If you want to try comedy, like, we're going to start a comedy workshop on Mondays. So that'll be right before the open mic. Yeah, those are some ways to get involved. And we also have dance classes. So BioLOKC runs bachata, they run salsa. Victor crushed it at the Comedy Rumble. I would highly recommend taking his bachata class. That's where you should really start if you want to do dance in Oklahoma City, is I think going to Victor's bachata class.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to become a fixture even in the comedy scene. So it'll be fun to kind of like see some like carryover there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can mix the shows. That'd be kind of fun.
So I asked Austin Slaughter recently, I was like, what do we do to make this happen? What do we do to make comedians and dancers and then everybody kind of like mix? And he said, we need to have mixer shows. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start having holiday mixer shows soon.
Ooh, nice.
Where we mix the two somehow.
Nice. Well, thanks guys for talking, and thank you, Aaron, for putting this together and tending to your part of the garden.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike, for being you and being on the ball about the Comedy Rumble.
You're welcome.
Yeah, guys, be sure to come out, check us out, check out the club. Come be a part, at least visit. Also, just want to let you know the sponsors, Campbell and Son Electric. I don't know if you guys heard about them, but they're probably the best electrician ever was.
Yeah, they're sick.
But yeah, Campbell and Son Electric, that's our sponsors. Go ahead and hit them up if you guys need any electrical needs. Also, come out, check out standupmics.com. That way, if you want to be involved, it's a great way to find everything and the times and when to show up. Once again, thanks, David, for running all our camera stuff and being in the background. And thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you, Nick.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
See ya.
All right. Good job, guys. That was fun.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Thanks, man.
That was good.
Yeah.
Good job.